Hello everyone. So you can unmute, you can take your headphones and put them on your head. So hello everyone. We're gonna talk today about the MAIA Plus, which is the solution, the AI solution that extends your ServiceDesk Plus. So we're gonna go with the presentation. I'm gonna show you a few things, and I'll also show you the MAIA Plus and also general information. If you will need, if you will have any questions, just pop them out to the chat, and I'll read them later at the Q&A stage. And also try to remember or precise the question at which moment you ask them, so I'll be able to get back to those questions. So I'm today's presenter, and also I'm the creator of the MAIA Plus, so I'm the best fit person to talk about the MAIA Plus, and I'll guide you through the whole solution. And let's go to the agenda. So we'll go with what is MAIA Plus essentially, why it is a game changer. We'll go why to choose MAIA Plus, the data processing and security. Also, we'll go through the live demo, and also we'll go through the question and answers. So what is MAIA Plus? I've already talked about some introduction. What is MAIA Plus? But basically, this is the automated ticket handling, which gives us the faster resolution times for the end users. It's also intelligent routing to the right technician. So the ticket coming from the requester will go to the proper technician, or the guy that will mostly resolve it as soon as possible and have knowledge how to resolve it. We also gain instant access to the organizational knowledge through the MAIA Plus. So we can go and let's stop on a brief moment why MAIA Plus is a game changer. So basically, right now, we don't have a way to have some automated responses that checks what's going on with the MAIA Plus. So, with the MAIA Plus, with ServiceDesk. I read a note from the producer. So anyway, why it is a game changer? So we have controlled knowledge base. So we use the knowledge that comes from the organization, and we use that with the responses. By default, in ServiceDesk, we don't have an option to, for example, respond to a user based on his context. It's also beyond how to, so it's capable of answering complex queries using your internal knowledge from the knowledge database. It's also with the direct synchronization, so it syncs the documents right from the knowledge database instead of going like putting the documents manually to some folder or pulling them from the SharePoint. So we emphasize getting the documents within the service desk, which is easier later to handle those documents. Also, zero-level support, because you have automated first responses that helps to lower the technician workload. So this is why it's game changer, and we also plan to extend a lot of features and add a lot of other features. So why you can choose MAIA Plus, or why should you choose MAIA Plus? So we got native integration. It's built specifically in mind for ServiceDesk Plus on-premise. It's precision over generality, so we use the verified organizational data, and we have lower escalation rates, so you have the consistent high quality information from your knowledge database provided to the end users right at the proper time. So, but we'll need to talk about, because those were the features that I'm going to show you also later on the webinar. But the main point that some people may ask is why or how we process data, about the security, etc. So the first thing is that the knowledge database sits within your environment. So you have the data in your internal database. The MAIA Plus also have its own database, but it's on your servers. It's not some cloud solution. You can install it on your servers. You got full control of what AI can process or cannot process. And also you can bring your own keys, so you can choose your own provider for the LLM or the embedding. It's up to you. We have some recommendations, but mostly you can go with your own solutions about it. And the whole data stays within your environment. You got also the dashboard with the audit, with the process request, so you can see what's going on within the MAIA Plus. Okay, I think that we can skip to live demo, so you'll see more, and also the use cases of the MAIA Plus. So you will see how it works, what are the use cases, and also you'll see it in action. So let's just jump straight to the MAIA Plus. So basically, this is the service desk for guys that are not familiar with the service desk. So without the MAIA Plus, the user, when generating a request, he would type, for example, some information like, maybe let me go with my username, or maybe not. Let's go with another guy. And let's say the user says something like, I've spilled coffee on my laptop. Okay, so user, for example, says only that. So he adds the request. Let's just wait a moment till the request comes through to the service desk. Okay, this is the first information from MAIA Plus. But let's say we don't have the MAIA Plus. So currently we will need to have some rules to assign this to some specific technician, which would, for example, take a look on the request, answer the requester, check everything about the requester, maybe check the policies about our laptop exchange policy when the user destroys the company equipment. With the MAIA Plus, we have features that help with resolving those things faster. But we also believe that there should be a human in the loop. So we believe in that process. So essentially, we need a human that will take over the requests later after the MAIA comes in. So as an example, let me go with the first thing that we see. So first is that the MAIA Plus will automatically respond to the user based on that email. So he said to us, he write to the service desk, okay, I've spilled coffee on my laptop. So the MAIA Plus writes the whole complete solution in multiple languages. So for example, if the user will say something in Polish, it will also respond in Polish. So what's the solution? I've spilled coffee on my laptop. Okay, solution is to disconnect the power immediately. Do not power it on. No exceptions. Position it upside down so the so liquid can get out of the inside parts, and also report the incident in the service desk, which we have. And also here are the next steps, which are the hot swap, the rapid replacement, and the also information that any repair will be handled per our standard financial accountability process. And that information doesn't come from anywhere, or from this is not a general response, because I've talked about the internal knowledge database. So we use that to generate responses to the end users. So we have a procedure in these solutions. Let me just skip right into it. And here we have a procedure which I've added about the information about the incident management of the laptops or any other equipment. So basically this defines, here is the liquid damage protocol, the business continuity, the accountability, so who will pay for the damage. So MAIA uses that information and send a response to the end user. So the user doesn't need to, for example, go and look for the solutions or some internal knowledge. He gets the information right away. We can go, because this is the first response. After that, the human technician would need to go into the action and talk with the end user. But the second thing is the other process. So basically, we have technicians that, for example, are only just started in our company. So therefore, they don't have general knowledge about the company, the internal procedures. Of course, they will have the training, etc. They may look through the solutions, but basically they will need to, on each request, go to the solutions and check what's going on. With the MAIA Plus, they also gain the information from MAIA, what's going on. They have the details, analysis, the next steps, what to do with the request, and based also on our documents from our internal database knowledge. So here you can see, based on the SOP, coffee spill, this is the immediate safety hazard. Next steps, like what to do, what they should do about the user, like get the laptop asset tag, laptop model, confirm with the user that the laptop is disconnected from the power, access hot swap, so check his role, if he's eligible, for example, for quick replacement as per our policy, because the policy defines the replacement SLA for that. Also, what questions he may ask towards the user, for example, the asset tag, so if he disconnected the power, or if he tried to restart the laptop after spilling, for example, the coffee. Also, some other diagnostic tips. But you can see that for technician, we have like the really greatly built information, what he should do as a technician. For the end user, we have like the simple solution, what he should do. And if we use, for example, MAIA for other requests like problems with Wi-Fi, network connections, VPNs, it will also try to not use technical language while responding to the end user. But that's not the end of all things that we have within the MAIA Plus. So we also have the algorithm, and I'll just do one thing because this is the demo, and I'll show you how it works. So I'm gonna fill the data in blanks. So I'm gonna show you how it works and why we why I've built the algorithm that helps with assigning tickets to proper technicians. Let me just go with maybe like this. Okay. And let's swap it to the Mateusz Żurek. Okay. So this is the algorithm that checks which technicians is right fit for this particular request. So I'm going to explain how the model works so you have better familiarity with it. So it takes the previous tickets, it takes their descriptions, the subjects, the technicians that were assigned to this ticket, and it calculates the probability how much user fits per each ticket. So we train our own little model that will try to predict who is best fit person for some specific ticket. And we use that to have the confidence level, which is the first value that you can see. So Mateusz Żurek is the best guy, is the guy that should take this request and, for example, solve it. But there is also one other problem in the way. So technicians can get a lot of tickets through that way. So even if he's the best person fit for this kind of request, there may be a problem because he have like 20 requests and he doesn't have a lot of time, so he'll not solve it really quickly. Therefore, we also check which other technicians can do this, and we check their current tickets and their mean time to resolve the issue. So under the hood, so we got the information. Also, we calculate how much work minutes there is on the technician currently. So, for example, for Mateusz, we have around 300 minutes. For Mateusz Żurek, we have 285 minutes. And for me, we have 500 minutes. So the best person which will solve this ticket is Mateusz Żurek, as he has some familiarity with the ticket, and also he has the least amount of minutes, so he's the most probable person that will solve this as soon as possible. But there may be a question at the chat right now. So, but we don't want the Mateusz Żurek to solve this ticket as the confidence, so therefore his knowledge about similar requests he's not familiar with that kind of request. So the confidence, for example, is not so great for him. You can choose how much confidence you want to have as the bare minimum. So for example, we on the demo have it set on 0.3%, but we could set it up, for example, to 10%. Therefore, only Mateusz Żurek would be shown here, and he will be chosen for this current ticket. But for the presentation, we set it up so low so you can see that we pick different technicians. Okay, and the last thing, which is great when you're talking about the assigning or maybe having a business rules within your service desk, is setting the category and also the subcategory, because those are the things that technicians need to click, for example, or some guy that will put the tickets to proper lines, to proper groups. So with that, we have it done through the AI, through zero-shot categorization. So the MAIA Plus decides to which category and subcategory this ticket should go. And based on that, you can launch some business rules or some custom triggers built in directly to the service desk. or use some workflows. So basically, it does all the automation for you. So what I'm showing you is that we have the categorization, we have the proper assignment, but not based on the based on the knowledge, but also on the time of the user. So how much the ticket will be, how soon it will be resolved. So we try to get the guy and do the best fit for the user. We also have the technician node, so the guy will know. Sorry, also producer once again. So the technician will know what to do next. So let's say he has some problems with the configuration, or maybe there is some Wi-Fi issues. So the AI, as the MAIA, will also recommend what to do based and give some technical steps, not only use the like the knowledge or try to explain it so simple. And also for the end user, we have automated response. But here's the part, you can choose which features you own. So we don't need to enable them once, then all. You can choose which feature is enabled. So let's say you want the technician node, but you don't want to have the first response to the requester. Okay, so we can change it and select that the MAIA Plus will leave a note what it should reply to the end user. So MAIA will not automatically reply, but it will leave a note. So the technician that will be assigned through the MAIA can just copy it and paste it and check the content of it. And also we have other features that are here. So the technicians tends to, for example, reply in ways that the end users may not know what to. For example, they write problematic for the end users. So they write like the short, they use technical terms and other things. So we can use the rewrite message, and we can rewrite the message for the end user. So as an example, we have the case where we've spilled, where the end user spilled something on the coffee. So we can type, okay, bring the laptop as soon as possible to the end user. The end user to our room. We'll take a look on it and try to recover the data. We have a replacement for you. Okay, let's go with this. We click on rewrite message, and the MAIA Plus will rewrite this message and try to make it look professional and friendly. So good day, thank you for the report. Please bring the laptop as soon as possible to our support room. So we'll try to recover the data. In the meantime, we also have a replacement laptop available. Also, what it does, it gives the glossary over the technical terms that the technician uses during the message. So it tells, for example, that the data recovery is restoring files and information from a device that isn't working properly. So we have this glossary as the technicians tends to, for example, answer the end user with some technical terms, and this helps to reply nicely to the end users. And after that, you use this message, and you have this message in this field. So we can just, for example, delete this and just send that to the end user. So as simple as that. But that's not the whole thing about the MAIA Plus. So the last thing about this view that we have here is the AI summary. So we can generate a summary which will help the manager or the technician that will get this ticket later. So let's assume a situation where we have another ticket with 20 replies from the requester, 20 replies from the technician, some internal notes, and something else in between. So we can generate a summary. So for example, the manager will know what's going on with the ticket, or when we are going and forwarding this ticket to other line of support or other group of technicians, for example, between the hardware or a network team, they can go to this ticket summary and check what's going on. Keep in mind that they have like 20 replies. So when someone else will get this ticket, they will need to read each thing. But with this summary, you can see what's going on with the whole ticket. So on our side, on the user side, what was done, the ticket subject, when was the last update of this summary. So that are the things that we can use from and within the ticket. Also, what the users can do, because we have the internal knowledge that we use, and I've mentioned also in the beginning. So the end users may try, instead of going to the and creating the request, they may try to use the solution database. So we also gathered a way to look through those documents more easily. So instead of them going like, okay, I have some incident, so spilled coffee, okay, no issues, or laptop not working, you don't see any results. But with the context search, we go and try to grasp the idea of what the user is really looking at. So we can here type, for example, spilled coffee, and we can do search, and we try to look for the documents that are related to this particular incident. But we don't have information what to do when spilled coffee, so we can go to the replacement policy for laptops. So we can go through the search, and you can see here we have the IT hardware incident management. So here is the solution that we have about the replacing our laptop. Okay, so also we have other articles. They are in the Polish, but it also works in the multiple languages. So even if you have, for example, multiple languages, it will still work. So it's not focused on some particular one language, but it works with multiple languages. So if you have a multi-language service desk, it will work. It will work without any issues. And also, let me just go back to the solutions. So for example, a user may ask, for example, for how to reset password. We click on search, and here is the article about resetting the password to the Active Directory and unlocking your own account. So this is how the end users may go, or even technicians, to look for particular solution to their problem. So we grasp the context underneath their question, underneath their query, instead of searching for specific texts or tags. Okay, but this is also not of one, this is almost last feature. We also have the AI generated solutions. So we came to this problem where the end users, maybe not the end users, the technicians will not write the knowledge, the solutions to the tickets. So we also use the AI to write the solutions to the tickets. So let's assume you have some thing with 20 replies from the end user, 20 replies from the technician, and we want to save this knowledge for later usage. So MAIA can also generate resolutions based on that. And we'll try to generate it based on the resolution typed by technician, the internal nodes, the communication between the technician and the requester, the original subject, and the description. And we'll have the article. But what we need to do with the article? So basically, we need to approve the solution to be used later by MAIA Plus. So as I mentioned, human in the loop process, we need to verify this article and, for example, extend it, change some things, and then approve it to be used later by the MAIA Plus while generating responses. So it will not be automatically learning itself, because we want the technicians to verify the solutions that are written by the MAIA Plus to be later used. Also, what we can do is there may be some specific scenario, for example, where we have different teams, and different teams want to have different knowledge from different article knowledges. So we can also set it up. So if we have some tags on the documents, for example, in the general, or we have other categories, we can categorize the documents within the MAIA Plus, and therefore we can use only the particular knowledge database solutions to particular requests. So for example, user from the department A or B will only gain access to some specific solutions, and other departments will gain the access to other solutions, while the MAIA generates the response itself. Okay, and we have that about the features that will help to boost the user happiness, and also the technicians will resolve the ticket sooner, because we don't later, I mean, while going with the request, the technicians will have more knowledge because we use the internal knowledge database, and also even the first starters in the company, the technicians that only started like 3 months ago, will have the information right away. And also the knowledge will not stay only within the technician's mind, but also with the solutions database. So even if we will have some, for example, changes, or someone is on leave off, we'll have the knowledge about the requests and we'll know the ways how to solve those requests. But MAIA is also about the audit and to test whether it works within our environment. So we have the admin interface for that. And this admin interface will help us with looking at the costs, the user engagement, the actions performed, how much time we saved, how much money we spent and saved. And you can see all of that here. So how much money we saved, this is based on the hourly rates of the technicians, how much time, how much money we spent, because we need the LLM to generate the answers. So we calculate here how much money we spend. The knowledge vault that I've talked earlier is the place where all of the documents that comes from the MAIA Plus lands. So from the service desk. So all of the documents lands here. So you can see here, for example, here's our IT hardware incident management. So here is the whole article in the MAIA Plus. So you can take a look at it. But also what we have is the chunking algorithm that I've written. This algorithm is helpful when you have documents that, for example, 50 pages, 100 pages, 200 pages. So it will divide the whole document into separate chunks to be used later by the MAIA while generating responses to the end users or notes to the technicians. And it will be chunked based on the context. So it will try to precisely cut those documents on the right moment. Also, here we can see search by meaning. We can go with the incident management replacement. So we can go with this, and you can see that here we see for this particular phrase how much similar is that query to documents in our database. But you can go to the response simulator and, for example, write a message here. So reply to me as an end user, what to do when I've spilled coffee on my laptop and it is not working. Okay, so here we have some things like the RAG enable, the persona, all the things that administrator may want to take a look at. But the most important thing here is that this interface is giving you access to MAIA, but without that much restrictions. So it will not reply as like to the end user or to the technician. So we need to guide it to say to it to reply to me as the end user. And here is our query. So we have an answer. I'm sorry, treated this as critical liquid damage incident and do those things immediately. So we also can see on the right side which documents were used during generating this response. So you can go and see the document that were used during generation of this response. And you can check here how the MAIA replies to, for example, some specific queries, or if we have proper documents, or how it behaves. I've also mentioned about the audit, so I'm going to show it. So here we can see the chunks, and so what we had about the request. So for example, how to reset password, that was the query that we put. So we have all the information, who did what and which action, and also what was the query. You can also go through the request. So we can go, for example, to specific request, and let's say that was the request that we've created on this webinar. So you see here that those also documents were used during the generation. So if, for example, there is some misleading information within your internal database knowledge, you will see why, because you will see which documents were used for that particularly. And that's pretty much about the MAIA Plus features that we have, but there is also maybe a question related. Let me go back to the presentation and launch it. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so there may be a question related to, for example, how from where the MAIA Plus gets all other knowledge, like the how it gains the knowledge about, for example, blue screens or Wi-Fi problems or some other configurations. So the LLM that we use have some general internal knowledge. Like, for example, if you ask ChatGPT, hey, I want to configure a new network on my MacBook or macOS, it will reply with information how to do it. The same applies to MAIA. If you ask the question that's not within your internal database, it will also use its general knowledge. But where is the difference? So when you ask, for example, ChatGPT, okay, so who is my supervisor, or who is my manager, or what's the policy about the laptop replacement in my company, the ChatGPT will not respond to that. The MAIA will use the knowledge and will respond to that based on the documents that you have within your internal knowledge database. It will also save other knowledges from other tickets and be later used by the MAIA while generating the response to the requester or to the technician. So we've come to probably the last thing about the presentation. So what you need to have to run MAIA Plus. So essentially, you need to have the ServiceDesk Plus on premise, the optionally dedicated server. It can be launched on the same server as the ServiceDesk or some dedicated server, and the LLM embedding, for example, on the Azure. Most of you probably have the SharePoint, the Teams, and other things from Microsoft, so it's easier to go directly with the Azure. Okay, so we go to the Q&A session, and I'll take a look on the questions that may be on the document. I'll try to respond to them. So just give me a brief moment and I'll look through the questions. Okay, I see 3 questions. So, what is the real time frame of implementing MAIA in the organization? So, when we are talking about the implementation of MAIA, it's around, I would say, 1 week or maybe 2 weeks if you have the internal knowledge database already set in place. So we'll use that knowledge and it's gonna be easier. But if you're talking about the whole process, because we need to divide, deployment of MAIA is kind of easy. We just set up a server, set up an Azure, for example, for that, set up the software. But the whole process is a lot wider. So we will need to, for example, as the organization will need to prepare the documents, check the answers. So it may take up to, for example, 1 month or even 2 months, but we'll start sooner. But the end of the process that I'm talking about is the usage with the internal knowledge database. I hope that this answered these questions. How well does the system work out of the box, and how much does it require tuning? So it doesn't require a lot of tuning, basically none. So it works based on the internal knowledge database, and it doesn't require a lot of tuning because we use the internal knowledge. So the more knowledge you put to the solutions, to the service desk, the more better responses you'll have about the organization. Okay, how to prevent the knowledge base from being cluttered with automatically generated content. Yeah, that's one also the things that I didn't mention, that I forgot to show you. It's about the administration, but I'll say it here. You can choose when the solution is generated. So for example, we can set it up like that only from this specific template we generate solution, or it's done on the demand or some other things, because each of the actions of the MAIA is integrated with the service desk through the custom triggers, so you can set them up how you want. So it doesn't need to be available for each request, for each template. It can be done for pretty much any template category you want. And I don't see more questions currently. And also you can use the private messages. Okay, let me, the guys behind the camera tells me to refresh the document. So 30 seconds response time. Okay, we use Azure here, so it's about the Azure. The Azure is giving and generating the response kind of long, so that's why it's generated so long. But basically, when we don't have the option to chat directly with the ticket, we use the options to generate the responses. And for the end users, like having 1 minute response later is not so problematic as I guess, because they will just type request, they will expect that the technician will reply in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 or some longer. So only the response time is problematic when we are trying to generate responses in the response simulator. I'll ask if we have other questions to you guys. Okay, I don't see any other questions. You can also always go and write to the email, and to my email or to the contact at MAIA Plus. So you can write to any of those emails and you will receive responses from me or from the team behind the MAIA Plus. So that's everything for today, guys. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your time and have a nice day.